Hello, welcome, and thank you for watching this month's Tarot Talk. I'm intuitive reader Bryan Stafford from Stafford Tarot, and today's Tarot Talk topic is going to be about divination with regular playing cards. Now, to give some time for some viewers to join me, I'm just going to take a little moment to talk a bit about what's new at Stafford Tarot and some of the upcoming events to look forward to. Then we'll get right into that Tarot Talk topic. And then finally, I'll be offering six free short readings to those who are interested, who show interest in the chat during this broadcast. So if you are watching this broadcast to see the sample readings, feel free to skip ahead about 20-30 minutes, as I will be offering 6 free readings to those who show interest in the chat after that discussion topic. Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate you seeing me there. I'm really appreciated as well that you wrote in the chat right away. It lets me know that the messages are working and that I am receiving them. I will definitely add you to the list to receive a free reading. When we start those free readings, you'll be first on the list. And anyone else who may be watching, just feel free to write interested into the chat and I will add you to the list. I have 5 more spots available. So what's new with Stafford Tarot? Check out what's new and upcoming for 2024 on my website at www.staffordtarot.com. All sorts of new features and products are currently being manifested. Watch for those announcements on my website, as well as I'm in arrangements with Tributes Gifts back online, as well as Hillside Family Therapy in collaboration together for some amazing new product ideas. So watch for those announcements soon to come. I'm also really excited to turn some of my workshops into virtual experiences. With the new Spirit Talk online event that's coming April 30th, 2024, this is going to be a mediumship focused workshop. I'm really excited about it. You still have time if you're interested to register and join. You can. There is a discounted price right now that will be running until January 30th. So after January 30th, the price will increase. So check out all those details and how to register on my website, staffordtarot.com. And some in-person workshops are also coming available and will be coming soon. I'm just working out those locations, so watch for those dates. All the information will come available on my website, staffordtarot.com. Just check the event announcements, and I'm going to be putting in some new what's new news announcements in there occasionally. So everyone will be kept up to date from my website or from my social media. If you're watching this from YouTube or from Facebook, you can always get that information and link right to my website as well. Hi, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining. I appreciate your message there. So some of the upcoming events to look forward to from Stafford Tarot. Of course, I will be continuing my free monthly draws. The next draw will be happening Monday, January 22nd, 2024. You have until 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on that date to get involved in the draw. How do you get involved? You simply like, comment, or share any social media post that mentions the draw and you're automatically included. I do look at all the posts. I collect all the names. I literally make a list, cut them out, put them in a hat, draw names. I do pick 1 in 5 winners. So what that means is that if I get up to 5 people in the draw, I'm choosing 1 name. If I get more than 5, up to 10 people, I'm choosing 2 names. If I get between 10 and 15 people, I'm choosing 3 names, etc. And I always try to keep the winning ratio at least 1 in 5. I like to do this to keep the opportunity abundant for those who get interested and participate in the draw. What else should I mention? When you are a winner, you will receive an email or a message on the same platform that you got involved in. So for example, if you liked a social media post on Facebook that mentioned the draw, you're automatically included in the draw. If you're a winner, I will contact you through Facebook because that's the platform that you got involved. If you want to get involved, you can simply just write me an email saying that you want to participate, and I will write you back through email if you are a winner. I only respond to winners, so if you don't hear from me on the draw date, better luck next time, and feel free to participate again on the next draw date. I do have them running monthly. All those dates are available on my website. And upcoming oracle pulls. The moon oracle pulls, I've received a lot of feedback from people saying how much they connect with them. What they are is on the full moon and the new moon, roughly every second week, I put out a 2-card general public reading that just gives some insight and perspectives around that time period and considering the energies of the new moon and full moon. It's just some insight and perspective for anyone who's interested, who may be affected by those energies. And so the full moon oracle pull will be coming out leading up to Thursday, January 25th, 2024. And the new moon oracle pull will be coming out leading up to Friday, February 9th, 2024. Those oracle pulls are available from my website, staffordtarot.com. There's no requirement. They're just posted on free for anyone who's interested. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. I will definitely add you to the list to receive a free reading. And anyone else who's interested to receive a free reading, just let me know. I will be offering 6 free short distant readings to anyone who shows interest in the chat during this broadcast, and I will be offering those readings after the Tarot Talk discussion topic of divination with regular standard playing cards. And then I just want to talk about the next Tarot Talk live event will be happening Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. It's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same as tonight. So just watch for that. The tarot topic then is going to be about when not to do readings. I'm going to look at some of the pros and cons, the do's and don'ts, and we're going to focus on some of the don'ts, when not to give readings or to do readings for yourself, and why that might be important to wait. So we're going to get into that tarot topic on Friday, February 23rd. And tonight's Tarot Talk topic is going to be on, like I said, divination with standard playing cards. So I'll get into that. More to come heading into the new year. So check out my website as it arrives. More information will be posted on there. So to keep everyone up to date, questions and comments are always welcome. www.staffordtarot.com. As well, if you have any questions about anything I've mentioned tonight or anything involving the Tarot Talk topic discussion or involving the free readings as we get into them, feel free to just add those questions into the chat. I will be watching for those messages to appear. Thank you, Sabrina. I do see that. I think what you're trying to tell me is that you're interested to receive a free reading, so I'm just going to add you to the list. And you're third on the list. I have 3 more spots available for anyone who's interested to receive a free distant reading on this broadcast. So let's get into that Tarot Talk topic. Divination with playing cards. Now, I'm speaking about the standard playing cards that you would normally see in a game of poker or blackjack, or, just those playing card games. Just your standard 4-suit with court cards. And I thought I would just start this discussion by talking about the differences between tarot cards and playing cards. Now, one of the differences that most people will notice right away is the size of the cards. This is a standard tarot deck, and this is a standard playing deck of cards. You can see here, one is a little bigger, one smaller. And I think it's more just the handling of it, the reason for that. And the playing cards are smaller so that you can fit more in. As you're playing the game, you can hold the cards. It's a little easier to hold. You can get tarot cards this size, for example. You can get them the size of playing cards. and they are your standard tarot deck. Now, the difference between a tarot deck and a playing cards deck is that the tarot deck has more cards. It has 78 cards in total. The 78 cards are sort of split into two categories, the minor arcana and the major arcana. And the playing cards have only 56 cards in them. And that's because they are missing all of the major arcana. Now, the playing cards, the cards that are missing from the playing cards are the 22 picture cards of the tarot. And I can show you an example here. These would be the cards that don't have suits in them. So, for example, the World card, the Judgment card, the Sun card. They have images, they have a picture to describe the influence of the message, and they just have a number that puts them in a certain order. Whereas the suit cards tend to have one of the 4 suits on them, no matter whether it's a court card or a regular card. There are, wands, more wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. Now, this follows the same structure as a playing cards. Instead of wands and cups and swords and pentacles, you have hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds. The numbers are the same from ace to 10 to 9. 10, jack, queen, and king are the court cards, and they all have those suits. Now, the reason why I want to explain how these are similar is because in a standard tarot deck, you have the 56 suit cards and the 22 picture cards. The 22 picture cards are sort of like the life lessons that can come out. They're sort of like the theme around the reading in a sense. Whereas the suit cards are more the influences around you in the moment and can be temporary. So in using playing cards that only have those temporary in the moment influences and is missing the more structured major arcana messages that involve life lessons, playing cards in divination are mostly used for in the moment. They are a tool to use for how I'm feeling now in the moment. They are not necessarily I've seen them used for it, mind you, but they're not necessarily as good for more in-depth messages in regards to those longer life lessons that can involve different parts of our lives. It's kind of I'm trying to think of how to narrow it down. I guess I could give an example on this, but I'm just going to talk a little bit, before I get into those examples, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the suits themselves. Each suit in a tarot represents a specific aspect. In tarot, it's usually wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. In playing cards, it's clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. The wands and the clubs are the same suit. They are considered the fire element of the divination cards. The cups and hearts are the same suit, considered to be the water element. The swords and spades are considered to be the air element, and the pentacles and the diamonds are considered to be the earth element. So the fire element in tarot is really representative of like enterprise, glory, and actions that are taken. The water in representative in tarot is mostly about love, happiness, and emotion. Air in tarot is often about heavy thoughts and intellect, sort of strife and misfortune. And earth aspects in tarot are often about money and interests and prosperity, our needs, and what we need for ourselves. And so you can apply those aspects to standard playing cards in when you do your readings. As long as you keep those aspects in mind and you keep in mind the numerology of the numbers, then you can create your associations and get your meanings from the messages. So I'm just going to give an example of this. I'm just going to shuffle, and I'm just going to ask the cards for a 3-card pull to gain insight in the moment for myself. And what comes up is really kind of interesting. I'm going to start in the court card and work my way to the other lower numbers. Just the way that it's calling to me, the king seems to be standing out for me, and this is the King of Hearts. King of Hearts often represent when we have emotional decisions to make. We sit in the position of the king, in the throne of the king, to make those decisions. And with kings, often there's sacrifices involved. This would be like an emotional decisions moving forward. Now, the Ace of Clubs and the 3 of Clubs are together side by side. And what this tells me is that there's this new action that needs to be taken. It's almost like I've discovered this new action. And there's also that action involves communication. So this is definitely, I can definitely relate to this. In the moment, I am structuring myself to do this live. I've spent the last hour organizing my information, getting my website together, making sure things are up to date, preparing for this new idea in communication in the actions that I'm taking. And of course, me sitting in this position right now, it's all about helping others. It's about opening up intuition. It's about creating insight and perspectives for others. And so I can see that playing out with the King of Hearts. Can everyone see how this could be related just by doing a simple 3-card draw? Now, you can get into spreads with these kinds of cards too, in terms of advice, what works for you and against you, past, present, future, depending on the layout that you keep in mind as you're charging the cards. So I hope that makes sense. Some of the other ways that playing cards can be used for divination are the court cards. The court cards can have different representations depending on how they interact with the reading. Sometimes that can be based on the actual question that's being asked to the cards. Other times it can be based on just the way the cards are presenting themselves. What is the intuitive sense that comes out of that card when it reveals itself? And so I just want to pinpoint that the court cards, the king, the queen, the knight, and the page, or in playing cards, the jack, instead of a page, it's a jack. The king is often representative of spirit, of fatherly energy, or representative of a man, or taking responsibility, which is where I got the sense that it was about a decision that needed to be made. Queens are often also about responsibility. They represent soul and motherly aspects, as well as more caring, nurturing decisions that are being made. Knights are often represented by ego or coming and going of matters, and can also represent teen or adolescence. And the page often is aspected to the body. The page can be a representative of youth, so a young boy or girl. Even with the certain suits of the court cards, the king and queen and knight and page, if you're associating them as people and you're wanting a description of the person that you're reading about, you could associate this with the suits as well. So for example, a queen of wands could be representative of a motherly figure with blonde hair and blue eyes. A queen of cups could be a representative of a motherly figure with light brown hair or hazel eyes. A queen of swords could be a representative of a motherly figure with dark hair, brown eyes. Or the Queen of Pentacles could be a representative of a motherly figure of black hair, very dark eyes. And so it helps to, when you associate this, to get an impression of what's happening in the reading. So if the reading is about a particular person and you feel like that is the associated message that's coming up in your reading when that card comes out, follow that intuition and narrow down how it feels for you based on the numerology, the sign, and the structure, whether it's a number, whether it's a court card, where it fits. I hope that makes sense. If anyone has any questions about doing divination with playing cards, please let me know. I'm like an open book. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm just looking through the messages here. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anyone. Hi, Janet. Thanks for joining. Hi, Bo. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate seeing you here. Thank you for your comment, Lindsay. Yes, the tarot structure is actually based on similar to the playing cards. I don't know which one came first, to be honest, but I do know that the tarot was more used as the divination tool, whereas the playing cards became more, playing games, entertainment, where the tarot is more about insight and perspectives. If there's any questions whatsoever, please feel free to put it in the chat. I'm going to just continue with moving on into the broadcast, where we'll start those free, short, distant readings. For anyone who's interested to receive a reading tonight, just write interested in the chat and I will add you to the list. Thank you, Janet. I see you there. And so far on the list, I have 4 people, 2 spots available. First, I'm going to start with Lindsay, then Elizabeth, then Sabrina, then Janet. So if you showed interest and you didn't hear your name in that list, please let me know right away and I will add you to the list. I have 2 free spots available. I do cap these readings to 6 simply because the readings each are about 15 minutes long. 6 short readings, 15 minutes each, takes about an hour and a half. That adds to the half an hour of discussion that on the Tarot Talk live event. And so it kind of lengthens my broadcast to about 2 hours, which I think is reasonable. And so, yes, Janet, I've added you to the list. And anyone else who's interested, just let me know. Just write interested in the chat and I will make sure that you're included. Now, I should mention that sometimes in previous Tarot Talk live events, there have been times when the messages just didn't show up on the screen. Someone wrote that they were interested and it didn't show up and that they weren't able to enter the list, unfortunately. I always look back at the broadcast, check to see if there's any missed messages that don't appear, because they do appear after on the broadcast when I rewatch it later. Even if they don't show up to me during the broadcast, I can see them after. And so I always reach out to those people. I have offered free readings to those who missed the opportunity. So if you feel like you've missed an opportunity for a reading tonight, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to make up for it or to help you out with that opportunity. So Lindsay, if you're on the call, let me know. I always start my readings with a 1-card impression pull from a standard Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. And then I will move to my Morgan Greer deck, where you'll have an opportunity to ask a question, give me a topic to focus on, or it can be left general. Quite often when readings are left general, the messages that need to be heard will come up anyways. But it's up to you if you want to try and refine what you're looking for from the reading itself. Hi, Lindsay. Thank you for that. So I'm just going to start with you. I'm starting with a 1-card impression pull from this deck, and that's just going to tell me where you're sitting energetically in the moment, and then I'll move to this deck. Absolutely, we'll do a general reading for you. I feel like this deck's already done. Speaking to me fast. And again, Lindsay, is the 10 of Pentacles. This often represents gaining something from a family connection. If the pentacles were standing out for me, it would be like money or inheritance, prosperity coming to you from family. But what's standing out for me is actually the buildings, the security of the buildings, and some of the. It looks like the elderly gentleman is wearing a cloak and to keep him warm, and that's really standing out for me in this card. And so I have to follow that intuitive sense. I really think that what is coming from family for you, Lindsay, is, and this is in the moment, is this structure, grounding, warmth, protection, kind of comforting. That's what comes across to me. Let me know if that makes sense to you. If this card was reversed, I would think that there would be some sort of disruption to focus on. So I feel like that because it's upright, I feel like this is more of a positive sense. Maybe you've put something out to family and you've received something in return. It makes sense. Okay, thank you for that confirmation, Lindsay. I appreciate that. Just letting me know that I'm on the right track. And I'm going to continue with your general reading here. I'm just focusing on your energy and charging the cards with that intention. And when I intuitively feel like I should stop, such as now, that's when I know that your cards are ready. I'm just going to cut the deck one more time. Now, all three cards came out reversed, and 2 pentacles and a higher arcana card are displaying themselves. I feel like they're all speaking together. And so I'm just going to start at the higher arcana card and then move to the 2 suit cards. The higher arcana card is the Chariot reversed. Now, if the Chariot card came out this way, Lindsay, it would be like, go get her. Like, off to the races. There you go. And you're off. And, it's like you're, you're on your way. Because it's reversed, there could be something preventing you from feeling like that. You can't get the race going. You can't get off the ground. There could be something that's preventing you from moving forward. Now, in terms of these suit cards, they are both pentacles. You have the 2 of pentacles and the 3 of pentacles, both reversed, speaking together. The 2 of pentacles is often about having trouble creating balance. I do get a sense that this is financial. This is like a financial balance of some kind that may be struggling or that you're in the process of balancing. If the card was this way, you'd be balancing those finances. So just know that this is a little struggling. This could be difficult. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to get through it. What's standing out for me is the brooch on the character's cloak. And again, that speaks to like how we present ourselves and prosperity and having sort of a status. Also, the feathers in his hat are giving me the same kind of impression. And so I feel like for you, Lindsay, this is more about creating balance with finances, but there's complications involved, and that's why it's reversed. Now, this is a positive card in my view. When the student, I often call this the student card because it's about receiving communication and learning for what we need. And so when it's this way, it's about being the student, learning what you need to learn. When it's this way, it's trying to tell me that you're no longer the student in this. With these 2 cards together, I don't think you're learning how to balance this. That's why this is so challenging. I think you're experienced in balancing this, and it's just going to take the time and the balancing. You got to go through the process. I'm not sure if this imbalance is what's stopping you from getting off to the races. I do feel like they're all speaking together, and that would sort of hint to me that there's some sort of balancing that's needed to happen. And as soon as you can balance that out, you're going to be off to the races. Once you start flipping around these cards, for example, you create that balance for yourself. And then the card for the Chariot flips around, you're going to then be off to the races. And you might learn some things along the way, which will flip that card around too. But in the meantime, I think you know what you're doing. I don't think you have to second guess yourself or try to learn about this. I think you should feel confident you know about this, and it's just a matter of balancing it out, making it work. When I look at this reading as a whole, Lindsay, in the way that it came out, I could see this being a tough place to be. This is not an easy path because all the cards are reversed. I'm just getting that sense, as well as when I bring it to right where you are now in the moment. I'm wondering if that has to do with what's receiving from family, if that makes sense to you. Let me know how on track I am with this. I'm going to extend further on this reading. I think it may be helpful to look at possibly what you need for yourself from my heart chakra deck. This seems like a challenging path, and there seems to be a lot to do, a lot to figure out. And so I'm wondering if it would be helpful to get that insight from a heart chakra deck. Okay, thank you for that confirmation there, Lindsay. I think that's what this card is really saying, what you just said there, just lots of family things going on. And I can sort of see that. I could see this even being a little overwhelming if this balancing is taking a lot of effort. It seems to be screaming at me, which is why I say that. It just stands out more than the other card does. So I'm just focusing on your reading, and I'm going to ask this deck for advice moving forward. This is, as I said, it's my heart chakra deck. It gives great advice in terms of what we need for ourselves from a heart chakra standpoint. And so I'm just going to see how we can be advised here. Now, very interesting cards. I have 2 higher arcana cards upright, bookending this reading, and in the middle is a suit that's reversed, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to just start at 1 and work my way across, okay? Which one to start? I'll start here. Just 50-50 chance. Choose the draw. This is the balance card. Again, 14 in numerology is about a halfway point. It breaks down to 5, and 5 in numerology is like if you were on a journey from 0 to 10, 5 is the halfway point. So you can decide to either turn around and go back to the beginning or head to the other, like continue on to your goal. It's about creating that balance, creating that decision for yourself. What do you need? And what this is really saying is to create that balance within yourself. Interestingly enough, we have this balance that is not working in the moment. So difficulty creating a balance, and the advice that's coming out of this so far is to create that balance within yourself. There could be something within you that needs to be balanced in regards to this, okay? Now, the next higher arcana card is an important one. It's the manifest card. And so what this is really saying is that I think you just need to believe in yourself, and you can make this work, or you can make this happen, or you can manifest the result that you're hoping for. It's just a matter of focusing, taking the time. I feel like, again, it's really speaking to you internally, this balance and being the caster, so to speak. I really think that you have this ability in you, Lindsay, and that's what that's referring to. Now, the card in the center is the Just Breathe card reversed. The color around the card tells me that this is heavy thoughts and intellect. And the 4 in numerology is usually about finding grounding and structure. Quite often when we find grounding and structure in what we're thinking, it can mean that we just have to calm down. We have to, get ourselves into a state of mind in order to find that grounding and that structure. If the card was this way, it would be saying, calm down, Lindsay. It would be saying, just breathe, relax. It's not saying that. It's reversed. And so what this is really saying is that I don't think you need to just sit back and relax. I don't think this is a situation that you feel like you can just breathe through. I think there is some action that's required here. There's something that's needed for you. It's saying to do something. Don't just breathe. Do something. And you got the manifest card in the balance. So I really think that what you need to do is something for yourself, something that's internal. Perhaps you need to make a decision. Perhaps there's a choice that has to be made, or a way of looking at this. But it has to do with that balance. I hope that makes sense, Lindsay. Let me know if you have any questions. I do see your message there that you had a lot of family things going on. If you think that, I personally think that the reading itself is describing the family things that are going on, and the advice is really saying what you need for yourself. That you can't let all the family stuff interfere with what's happening inside. You have to create that balance. You have to manifest your desire, and don't just breathe through it. Do what you need to do for yourself. Oh, thank you for that confirmation, Lindsay. I really appreciate that. Wow, really spot on. You're very welcome. So I'm going to put the cards away and decharge these cards. And then I'm going to move to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, if you're ready and on the call, just let me know. And if you have a topic or question you'd like me to focus on for your reading, I will do that. I will keep that in mind. And anyone else who's interested to receive a reading tonight, I do have 2 more spots available. I just finished Lindsay's reading. I'm going to move to Elizabeth, then Sabrina, then Janet, and I have 2 more spots available. Just write interested in the chat and I'll add you to the list. Just going to charge and put away the cards. Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for joining. I'll definitely add you to the list. So you're after Janet. There could be about an hour wait for that, Cynthia, just because each reading takes about 15 minutes and you have 3 people ahead of you. So 45-minute wait. So Elizabeth, thank you so much. General reading, please. Absolutely, I'll do a general reading. So as I mentioned earlier, I always start my readings with a 1-card impression pull from my standard deck. And this just lets me know where you're sitting energetically in the moment, Elizabeth. And then I'm going to move to my other deck, my Morgan Greer deck, where you'll have an opportunity to focus on that general reading. Interestingly enough, Elizabeth, I got the same card for you in your card pull that I did for Lindsay. Now, interesting, where I find this interesting is yours is reversed. So, Elizabeth, for you, this card is telling me that in the moment, you're not receiving something from family. Like something is being held back or something that you would like to receive from family. And I'm getting the sense that it's information. It's something that you need, or information about family, or information about details of family. What's standing out for me is the way that the main character is sitting like this and he's thinking. And that doesn't normally stand out for me on this card. In fact, I don't even think that's happening in the image. It's really giving me the impression that that's what's happening. And so I have to go with that intuition. And I really think that there's some sort of intellectual process that's going on in terms of not receiving, it feels like information or not receiving something from family. Let me know if that makes sense, Lindsay. Or sorry, Elizabeth. And I'm going to continue with your general reading here. Now, if you're not sure what that's connected to, I have seen this card come up before reverse, where somebody wasn't receiving something from family and they weren't really aware what they weren't receiving, which is why they weren't receiving it. So keep that in mind. If you're aware of something that you need or are hoping for, or that you like information from family, and that's just what this card is just representing, is in the moment there's some sort of need from family. Oh, thank you for that message. That makes sense. Okay, thank you for that confirmation, Elizabeth. I'm just going to continue with your, I'm going to do a 3-card pull from this deck, just generally on the messages that you need to hear for yourself today. Just cut the deck one more time. And the 3 cards that have come out, I have 2 cup suits and a pentacle suit. Now, all 3 cards are again reversed. Interestingly enough, I really feel like this is a challenging course for you to take, Elizabeth. And an emotional one at that. I see you unable to find higher ground. And that's what this is just where I'm going to start in the reading. This is the 8 of Cups reversed, and it often represents success, finding success in ourselves emotionally. If the card was like this, it would be leaving these emotions behind to find higher ground in order to gain that success. When it's reversed like this, it means that you're not leaving those emotions behind. You're involved in those emotions, and you may not be able to get to that higher ground. I think what this could be saying is you don't want to leave these emotions behind. You want to work this out. Quite often when we leave them behind and we find higher ground and we don't acknowledge those emotions, they come back to bite us. I feel like either you're in that position where it's come back to bite you, or you're working it out now so that it doesn't come back to bite you. Now, the card beside that is the Knight of Cups reversed. And what this often means is not being able to take action based on this feeling. So you have this feeling that you need to take action and something's preventing you, something's stopping you. Once you figure out that dilemma or what's stopping you from taking action, this card will flip around and you'll be able to then take that action. But in the meantime, it looks like this. Now, the Seven of Pentacles reversed is the next card that I need to talk about. And this card often represents the work that isn't being done. When the card looks like this, it's about the work that you have to put in to reap the reward later. I feel like there's something that isn't being done, or something that has specific timing that could be off a little bit. So just keep that in mind, Elizabeth. I feel like with these three cards together, it's almost like you have to do some digging. That's the sense I get from this. Let me know if that makes sense to you. This would be like emotional digging and the work that needs to be done personally. I just feel like there's something missing. And that could be the information that we were talking about. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, thank you for that. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, thank you for that, Elizabeth. I appreciate that confirmation there. So I'm just wondering how I can extend on this further. Given that this seems to be an external interaction between you and family, there is something missing. You're right. Okay, thank you for that. I'm wondering if I can elaborate further or give more insight with my Zen deck. This deck gives great advice in terms of how we interact with the energies around us, and that's where I feel like it may be helpful for you in terms of getting through this situation. I'm just going to ask this card for some advice moving forward. I'm going to ask this card for a 3-card pull to explain that advice, and we'll just look at how the cards speak to themselves, each other, to get that message. I'm just going to cut the deck 3 times because that's my way. And the advice or the insight or perspectives that have come out of this are really interesting. I have a suit, a court card, and a higher or major arcana card. I'm going to work my way towards there. The suit card is all about intellect, and it's really saying go with the flow. And you can see here there's like a person, and they're kind of just floating along the waves and letting the waves carry them where it's going to. It's really saying that in order to interact with this, you sort of need to go with the flow. I think that's in your best interest to go with the flow instead of against the current. You may get more information or what you're hoping to gain going with the flow as opposed to being against whatever is coming at you. The next card is the Playfulness card. Now, this card is often represented as a page or jack in terms of, standard playing cards. This would be considered a page in this tarot structure of the Zen deck. And it's the Page of Wands, or action. And so it's really saying to take that action, go forth, take that action, and be playful. Have some playness around this. Maybe it might be suggesting that you need to change your outlook on this, or instead of taking it so seriously, or just adding some humor to it somehow, or creating a lighter situation from it. I think it's really just saying that you need to have some fun with this as opposed to staying very serious and abrupt. Now, the next card is the Higher Arcana, and it's the Change card. This card is very similar to like the World card in the standard tarot structure. And it's really about the changes that are coming in the time that's just needed for those changes. So just keep that in mind. This may bring change, or you're hoping it could bring change, or there's change involved in terms of how you interact with the energies around you. I think you need to consider the changes, have fun with some of those changes and the considerations of that, and try to just go with the flow. Don't go against the current. I hope that that makes sense, Elizabeth. Let me know your thoughts on that. I feel like and how do I explain this? I think I'm not sure what's holding back. That makes sense. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that, Elizabeth. That makes sense. The feeling that I'm getting from this reading, I'm not sure what's being held back or prevented from you, like you're not receiving from family in some way. It does feel like intellectual. Whatever that is, I feel like I'm just going to be blunt. I don't think it's as important as what you're thinking it is. I don't know how to explain that any better way, because if you're going with the flow, having better playfulness around this, and just expecting changes will eventually happen, it could be that this could be taken a little too seriously. Does that make sense for you, Elizabeth? Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm going to decharge the cards and put them away, and I'll move on to Sabrina. Sabrina, if you're on the call and you're available, let me know. Just decharge the cards while I wait for some messages to come up. You're very welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you for that. Hi, Sabrina. Thank you for letting me know you're there. Okay, one more deck. General reading. Absolutely, Sabrina. I'll give you a general reading. So as you've seen tonight so far, I always start with the one card impression pull from my first deck, and then I'll move on to the second deck for that general reading. And then if we can extend a little further using a third deck or another deck, we'll do that based on how the reading goes. So for you, Sabrina, I get the Seven of Wands. It did not come out reversed, and so this is the way that it's presented itself. And it's really showing that your actions are up against everyone else's actions, almost like you have to fend for yourself or defend your own, sort of holding your ground, your actions being important to you and up against all these other actions that may be different from what you're doing. Let me know how that resonates, and I'm going to continue on with your general 3-card pull. So the 3 cards that have come out are interesting as well: a Higher Arcana and 2 Court cards. I feel like the Court cards are speaking differently. They're not necessarily speaking together or bookending this reading. So I'm going to start with the Higher Arcana card. This is the Magician card. It did not come out reversed. And so what this is telling me, Sabrina, is that you have all the tools that you need to accomplish your goal. The Magician card is really all about having all the tools that you need to create your desire. And so I just feel like whatever this is based on, you have everything you need to proceed. It's just a matter of holding your own. Now, the card beside that is the Knight of Pentacles reversed. And it being reversed, what's standing out for me is the sun in the background. I have a feeling that this is more about healing than prosperity. And when it's reversed, it means that you're not taking action in terms of healing or what you need for yourself, maybe possibly for your health, not taking action for your health. Just keep that in mind. I'm not sure what that's relating to, but if you have all the tools that you need to move forward, it could be just a hesitance or just having to get started. Now, the Page of Rods is all about figuring out the action that you're going to take. What direction are you going to move in? And that's what the Page of Rods is suggesting, that you're sorting out the direction, the action that needs to be taken. Does this make sense to you, Sabrina? I saw your message there. You're not sure where this fits in terms of your actions being up against other people's actions. But in terms of the reading itself, do you see where you're determining these actions and the how you have what you need in order to do that, and the being possibly held back from taking that action further? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Sabrina. So this makes sense to you. If you're wondering where this action up against other people's actions is coming from, look at this card specifically. What are the actions that you're pondering to move forward? What are the actions that will determine the direction that you take? What is going to be up against you when you get into that direction? I think what this is really speaking to is to have the consideration of what's happening around you. I think I get the sense that this is really speaking together with this, that these are related to what is happening for you in the moment. And so if you're unaware what other people's actions are up against you, I would approach this with an open mind. Just keep an open mind in terms of what you could be up against, or there could be some things that you may not see coming, some unexpected confrontation, perhaps. Just keep that in mind moving forward. And I also want you to keep in mind that with the Magician card, this is an important message in this reading. You have all the tools you need to manifest your desire, to reach your goal. So just keep that in mind. I'm hoping that that gives you some confidence moving forward with this. Now, I'm wondering how I can extend on this further. I'm thinking my Pagan deck. This deck gives great advice in terms of finding a balance of two aspects of life. And if I apply that to this reading, given that there's this up against in some way, and it seems like you're still figuring out the direction that you're going to go and how you're going to go in that direction. So I'm just going to ask this deck for some insight or perspectives moving forward. How can you move forward on this? What would be the best way for you to move forward? And that's what I'm asking this deck. So really interesting cards have come out. It's bookended by two higher arcanas with a suit card in the center. I'm going to start at the suit card and work my way to those higher arcana because I do feel like they're speaking together. The suit card is the Five of Cups. I often like to call this card the what if card. When you look at what you've lost and what you still have, and if you made that decisions differently, how would that affect what you have now? It's really about determining how this is for you, how this feels for you. What is the loss? What is the gain? And what is the emotions that are involved? This card is the Hangman card. And in this tarot structure, it's depicted as a sort of an initiation of being blindfolded and held back and moving towards some sort of transition of some kind. I think you may be feeling like that you may be feeling a little stuck, but you're actually not stuck in some way. This could be discouragement that's coming out in the cards, perhaps, or just a need to be in the right mindset to move forward, if that makes sense to you. Now, the other card that came out is the High Priestess card. And so I feel like there's guidance in this from you, that people would probably look up to you in terms of where you're headed or the decisions that you're making moving forward. I also get a sense that what this is trying to say is that if you were told exactly what you needed to do, you probably wouldn't do it. So discovering it along the way, walking the journey, is going to be important moving forward. And that is coming through both of those cards, the Hangman card and the High Priestess, just together in terms of that initiation to move forward, and then not exactly knowing what forward movement is going to look like yet. That can be hesitant. That could be, I feel like it could be like anxiety over unknowns moving forward. Does that make sense for you, Sabrina? When I look at this reading as a whole, I definitely see cups, wands, pentacles, but no swords. And so I feel like it's just as important sometimes to look at what doesn't show up on the deck as it is to look up what does. And when there's no swords on the table, the cards that show up on the table are the cards that you needed to hear. So I think it's important to highlight in this, Sabrina, that you don't need to hear messages in terms of heavy thoughts or intellect in regards to what this in regards to this process or what this is about. And so I just think it's important to highlight that you may be making the right decisions, that you may be thinking about this in the right light, that you don't need to hear messages about the thought process that's involved. The messages that you need to hear are about the actions that you're going to take, that you have all the tools that you need, and that even though you may be prevented from moving forward, once you figure that out, this card will flip around and you'll be taking that action based on what you need. Thank you for that confirmation, Sabrina. Definitely that this makes sense. I do hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions about this reading. I'm going to start decharging the cards and put them away, and then I'll move to Janet's reading. Janet, if you're available, just let me know that you're still on the call. You're very welcome, Sabrina. I'll just start decharging the cards. After Janet, I have Cynthia, and then I have one more spot available if anyone is interested who's on the call and would like to receive a free distant reading from me on this call. Just let me know, right interested in the chat. Hi, Janet. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you letting me know you're there. So, Janet, if you have a question or topic that I can focus on for your reading, just let me know. When we get started, I'll, as I have been tonight, I'll start with a one-card impression pull from this deck, and that'll just tell me where you're sitting energetically in the moment. And then I'll move to my Morgan Greer deck, where I'll focus on if you have a topic question or would like to leave it general. As I said earlier, the readings that are left general, often the messages that need to be heard are what come up, but it's up to you if you want to try and refine what you're looking for. Oh, perfect. Okay, I'll just do a general reading for you too. No worries. So, Janet, for you, I get the Page of Wands. It did not come out reversed, and so what this tells me is that you're in the process of figuring out this approach or the actions that you're going to take moving forward. You're kind of pondering the actions. And what's standing out for me is notice how the way he's looking at the wand. He's kind of pondering, you know, what's this wand mean? Look at the details of the wand. I really think it's really speaking to like how you're going to move forward. You're figuring out what actions to take. So I'll just move into your general reading. I'll do a 3-card pull from this deck, and we'll just look at how those cards speak to each other to get the message. Oh, thank you for that. This is very true. I appreciate that confirmation that makes sense. Oh, I feel like the deck wants to be in a specific order. It's like telling me how to shuffle. Okay, and we got 3 cards all reversed, which tells me that this is not an easy track. Right away, usually when there's reversed cards, there's complications involved, or that they, you know, it's just not, it's not simple. It's not like smooth sailing. I'm going to just start at the higher arcana and work my way through these suits. The 2 suits that came out are pentacles, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. The higher arcana card is the reversed Hanged Man. Now, this is the Hanged Man based on the Morgan Greer deck. And so what this is really saying is that you are feeling stuck in some way. If it was this way, you can see here the person is not stressed. They look pretty calm, actually. They look like they're almost waiting to be rescued. And in fact, they almost look like they're trying to make themselves comfortable in the meantime. When it's reversed like this, that's the actual stuck hangman. You're not waiting to be rescued. You need to be rescued in some way, and or feel like it needs to be rescued in some way. And so that's just speaking to the dire need of this situation, if that makes sense. Now, there's a balance that's not coming into fruition here. And I do get the sense that this is about health, because what's standing out for me is the water and the ocean in the background. There's some sort of balancing in terms of your own health and what you need emotionally. Once you figure out that balancing, this card will flip around and you'll be creating that balance. But in the meantime, it looks like this. Now, the student card has also appeared in this reading, and it's reversed. Now, this often means that you're not the student. You have the knowledge and experience that you need to achieve your goals. If it was this way, it would be telling me that you have a lot to learn, that there could be something that you need to achieve first, or that you got to work on this and gain your way up. Just know you're already there. You have the knowledge, you have the skill, you have the experience. There's something about this that makes you sort of the knowledgeable in whatever this is about. When I look at this reading as a whole, you have the Wands and the Pentacles. Again, with the higher arcana being reversed and it's the hangman, the hanged man, I do get a sense that this is a struggle. Let me know how this makes sense to you, Janet, or how you would like to extend further. I'm wondering how I can extend further to gain some more advice or insider perspectives on this. I think that this Hanged Man card is flippable and will flip around once you decide what action needs to be taken. I think that's the action that you're deciding on is what is going to determine whether you're waiting to be rescued or needing to be rescued. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, thank you for that confirmation, Janet. I appreciate that. I'm wondering how I can extend on this further. I think I'm going to turn to my Witch's Wisdom deck. This deck really pinpoints the messages that are deep within that need to be heard. And so I'm wondering if this would be a good option in terms of asking for advice moving forward or some insight. I'm just reading your message there, that you do feel stuck in the waiting game that I have. to try and be patient. I understand. Just that alone really says that you know, having to wait that out and feeling stuck, and instead of waiting to be rescued, it's needing to be rescued. I am just going to pull 3 cards from this deck, and we're going to look at the messages that need to be heard from within. Hi, Kevin. Absolutely, I can add you to my list. You are the 6th person added to my list, and so that concludes my list for the free readings tonight. So after I do finish Janet's reading, I'll do Cynthia's reading, and then Kevin's reading, and then that'll be all the readings for tonight. Oh, hi, Mibu. I'm really sorry. I just filled my list. I'm wondering if I can add you to my draw for a chance to receive a free reading. That would be more of a remote reading. I'm just writing your name down so that I remember to contact you if your name comes up in the draw. So unfortunately, I'm not including more readings tonight other than after Kevin, just because that's my cap. I do cap my readings to 6 free readings in each broadcast. The only times I really go over in that is if there's a problem with the list, or the messages don't come up very clearly. But I will definitely add you to my draw for a chance for you to win a free remote reading. And anyone else who's interested, if you were interested to receive a reading tonight and you didn't get on the list, let me know and I will add you to that draw for a chance. It's a 1 in 5 ratio chance of winning, so there's good chances that you'll be able to continue on and maybe receive a reading. The difference between a distant reading and a remote reading is, in a distant reading, there's not a lot of interaction. It's me doing the reading, channeling your energy into the reading, and then there's not as much opportunity to ask questions, interaction between. But a remote reading is one-on-one. You are on a video conference call with me, and it's one-on-one. I can see you, you can see me, you could ask questions in the moment. It's much more interactive. So, Janet, the 3 cards that have come out for that advice in terms of what you need to hear for yourself, I'm just going to go in the order that they came out. There's a water, an air, and a fire card that's come out. The water card is reversed. This is the 4 of water, and it often represents some sort of clear communication that isn't happening. If it was this way, it would be like having that clear communication. It's using the depiction of whales of in terms of like a whale song. Whales don't need to see each other in the ocean to know that they're there. They sing to each other to know that they're there, and they recognize each other's song to know which whale it is, who it is, and they create friendships and pods and families based on that. And so it's really about the communication that you put out and receive. When this card is reversed, it can often mean that the communication, it's suggesting that maybe you need to just listen to yourself more, that the communication around you may not be as helpful as what you can say to yourself. The next card is the 3 of air. The air aspect in this tarot structure is all about heavy thoughts and intellect. And 3 is communication. And so something is communicating to you to really think about this. And it's using the depiction of these 3 birds leaving the island because of turbulent waters. It's about understanding the environment and what you need to do for yourself. It's about communicating those needs to yourself. And then the next card that I want to talk about is the 6 of fire. The card looks like this. 6 in numerology is often about how we help others. And fire in this tarot structure is about the actions that we take. So this is really about the actions that you take to help others. It's really suggesting to maybe take that action, that it's okay to take action if it's in regards to helping others. I'm not sure. I feel like these two cards could be speaking together in terms of how to help others and this communication that's not happening. I think you want to be careful with this kind of message getting too involved, if that makes sense. You're very welcome, Janet. I do hope that this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about what's come up here. When I look at the suits that are involved, you have cups, you have swords, you have wands, you have pentacles. This involves every aspect of your life. And I really think that because it involves every aspect of your life, that it's so challenging. And that's why these cards are coming out this way reversed. Yes, it does. Okay, thank you for that affirmation there, or confirmation there, Janet, that I'm on the right track here. Yes, it does. It's exhausting. It sounds exhausting, especially with this happening. If you find that you're escaping turbulent waters, you're avoiding getting into those turbulent waters, whether that water is symbolized as conversation that's turbulent, or actions that are turbulent, or interactions perhaps, but there's definitely this like suggestion to avoid the turbulent water and avoid the conversation, or the influence of the conversation, and just do what you need to do that's going to help others. So I'm going to clear these decks and thank the cards. And then I'll move on to Cynthia. Cynthia, if you're still on the call, let me know. And if you have a question or topic that you'd like me to focus on, absolutely, I will do that, or it can be left general. You're very welcome, Janet. I see your message there. You're welcome. Thank you for letting me do your reading for you. So Cynthia, let me know if you're still on the call and if you have a specific question. Oh, there we go. There you are. I'm still here. General, please. Perfect. Okay. Lots of general readings tonight. I like the general readings because I often suggest that if anyone has like more than one question, they might want to put it into a general reading, because what you need to hear will show up most. And so leaving it general will often give you the messages that you needed to hear anyways, but sometimes it's important, or it's good to focus and narrow in on the specific aspects of the reading that you want to hear. So I'm going to start with a 1-card impression pull for you, Cynthia, just connecting with your energy and charging the cards with that intention. And when I intuitively feel like I should stop, that's when I know that your card is available. Cynthia, for you, I get the Death card. Now, this is not a mortality card. This is not about death and livelihood. It's really about something needing to be destroyed in order for you to move forward. I really feel like, and the feeling that's coming out of this is transformation. Yeah, you're in the process of some sort of transformation in the moment. That this is about leaving something behind in order to move forward. Does that make sense for you? The card uses the symbolisms of death to describe that transition, or that, needing to something to end for something new to begin. It uses mortality in the same way as like, in order to move on to the next life, we have to pass away from this one. And it uses that as a symbolic gesture to a transition. It's not actually suggesting, mortality or that death. Okay, thank you for that, Cynthia. That makes sense. I see your yes there, answering my question. So I'm just going to focus on your general reading. I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck, and we'll just look at how those cards interact with each other. And interestingly enough, we also got the Death card reversed in the reading. I just want to point that out because in the moment you got the Death card not reversed, meaning that you're in this transition in the moment. But the reading is saying not to look at it as a transition. So this could be in conflict. I don't know if you're feeling like you're going through a transition and you don't want to be, or if you're if there's some sort of like forced into this transition, or the transition may not be what you're expecting. There's many different ways to look at this reading, and I find that fascinating. With the Death card reversed, I'm just going to start there in your reading and work to the suits. You have a Wands and Pentacles, one reversed, one not. The Death card reversed is often meaning you could be either having trouble moving into that transition, like getting to the next stage, whatever you've let go of and moving on to. I'm getting more of a sense that it's about the struggle through that transition, and that this transition could be difficult. So even though you're in the moment in the transition is not smooth. That this is a rough time, that the transition could have obstacles or could have bumps in the road, so to speak. And that'll have to be worked out before you can get through that transitional process of wherever you're headed. You don't feel it's forced. Okay. That's important. I appreciate that feedback. It just lets me narrow down this a little more. I really feel like you're going through this transition, and it is a challenge. Challenge to make it through the transition. Doesn't mean you won't. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get to that goal. It just means it may take a little extra steps or some extra work to do. Now, the two cards that are beside that are telling, and I'm going to go through that. The one that I really think is positive for you is the Four of Pentacles. It did not come out reversed, and so this is really about being structured in your finances. The coins are standing out for me, including the crown. And so I just feel like it is about prosperity, that this transition is really about moving into a new realm of prosperity in some way. So as you get through this transition, money is going to be available, but it's going to take a process to get there. It's not going to be an easy just slip through into that next realm or wherever you're headed. It's going to be it's going to take effort and time to get there. Now, you are not up against. That's what I think this card is really saying in this regards. This is the Seven of Wands reversed. If it was this way, it would be your actions up against other people's actions, and you have to hold your ground and stand your, really stand strong to what you believe. When it's reversed, it's saying that you don't need to do that, that this is sort of just going to go your way, that the actions are not going to be sort of up against you. Now, when I look at this reading as a whole, and I look at where it starts in the moment of where you're at and where it moves to, I get the sense that it's talking about the same thing, because you do have the Death card in both places. Wherever you're doing now is affecting where you're headed. In this reading in itself, I feel like it's a challenge, but with two cards reversed and one not, I think there could also be some internal guidance that you could just trust your intuition. The eyes on each character in every card is standing out for me, and so I just feel that it's an intuitive message that I think you just need to follow your intuition on this. I'm wondering how I can extend on this further. I think given that it's really it seems like a personal transition, I'm going to ask advice from my heart chakra deck, if that makes sense to you, Cynthia. This deck gives great advice or insight in terms of what we need for ourselves. And given that there's this transition going on, I'm wondering if that would help if I ask this deck for advice moving forward. So I'm just going to pull 3 cards from this deck, and we'll just look at how those cards communicate with each other to get that message. Now, 3 cards, again, are all reversed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be bad advice. So they are all suits, and I'm just going to look at them in the order that they came out. Two of them are 5s and one's a 9, and I think that that's important to look at. The 9 card is like 9 in numerology, is how we reach the final goal. And it's reversed, and it's the well-deserved reward. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not going to get a well-deserved reward. It means that it's down the road, and you're going to work your way to it. If the card came out this way, it would be like you've put in the work, you've put in the effort, and you have this well-deserved reward in the moment. When it's reversed, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have that well-deserved reward. It means it's down the path, and that you're going to have to put in the work to get to that reward. And it will be well-deserved if you put in the work. This card is suggesting not to change your focus. Do what you're doing. 5 in numerology, like I said, is like a halfway point. And so the color around the card tells me that this is embodiment in terms of what you need for yourself. And so don't change your focus. Don't change what you need for yourself. Focus on what you're thinking right now in terms of what you need for yourself. Don't look at this as challenging times. Look at this as the journey that's required. The more positive you look at your journey, the more you'll enjoy the travel, so to speak. If the card came out this way, it would be like, these are challenging times. You need to take this head on. You might want to protect yourself somehow. When it's like this, it's really saying, don't look at this as such a challenge. Try to go through it with a little more ease. Now, when I look at this reading as a whole, I see cups, I see pentacles, I see wands and higher arcanas, no swords. And so again, I just feel like it's important to reiterate that the messages that you needed to hear do not involve heavy thoughts and intellect, the process that's going on for you in your mind. And so I just think that you're on the right track, and that's why it's really suggesting not to change your focus. I think that you're in the right mindset in order to get to where you're going. It's just going to take the journey. You got to walk the journey to get there. I hope that this makes sense. I do hope that this was helpful, Cynthia. Let me know your thoughts. I'm in the process. Okay, so you can understand where this transition is involving then. I do hope that this was helpful. I'm going to start to decharge the cards and put them away. If you have any last minute comments, Cynthia, let me know. Oh, okay, thank you. Yes, it makes sense. Okay, perfect. Thank you for just letting me know that I'm on the right track here. Yeah, I think just follow your heart. Don't change your focus. Follow that mindset that you have. Thank you for letting me do your reading for you, Cynthia. I'm going to decharge and put the cards away. Oh, I'm glad it was very helpful. You're very welcome, Cynthia. Thank you for that. I'm just going to put the cards away, and then I'll move to Kevin. Kevin, if you're still on the call, let me know. And if you have a specific topic or question you'd like me to focus on, or it can be left general. Oh, I'm still here. Thanks, Kevin, for that. And if you have a specific question, just let me know. And as I've been doing tonight, I will start your reading, Kevin, with a 1-card impression pull from this deck. And that's just going to tell me where you're sitting energetically in the moment. And then I'll move to this deck, my Morgan Greer deck, and that's when you'll have an opportunity for me to focus on your topic or question, or if you wanted to leave it general. So Kevin, while I'm waiting for your message, I'm just going to start with your 1-card impression pull. This is just going to tell me where you're sitting energetically in the moment. I'm just connecting with your energy and charging the cards with that intention. Now, the first thing I notice in the way that the cards are shuffling, Kevin, is because I'm channeling your energy, connecting the cards, charging the cards with that intention. And the energy that's coming through feels like you're sort of against yourself in some way or another. The cards are kind of rigid. They're hitting each other. They have a specific order that they seem to not want to go in. And so I feel quite often that's a sign that the person that I'm reading is sort of against themselves or against their own energy flow in some way. Just some insight in the coming days after this tragedy. Absolutely. And I did see your message earlier, condolences to the loss of your father recently that you mentioned. And I believe that's the tragedy that you're referring to. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, Kevin. I'm just connecting with your energy, and I'm going to look at that 1-card impression pull. I feel like I needed to go through that. The card that is for you, Kevin, is the 9 of Pentacles reversed. If the card came out like this, it would mean that you're in the process, or that you've finalized putting your life together in the way that you'd like to see fit. Because it's reversed, it means that you're still in that process, that you're still working out how you'd like to see your life in the way that you see fit. And what I mean by that is the meaning of the card itself. You can see the image on the card. There's this woman, and she's in her fancy garden, and she has her fancy robes, an exotic pet, and her she's growing her luscious fruit. And it's really, this is how she saw her life. This is the things that she wanted in her life, and she's put it together to meet that goal. This is the journey you're on. You're in the process of putting your life together in the way that you'd like to see fit, but you're not there yet. Your life isn't put together yet. You're on your way. When you get there, the card will flip around and it'll look like this. But in the meantime, it's like this. Does that make sense, Kevin? Now I'm going to focus on your question, just some insight in the coming days. And I'm keeping in mind what you've been through. Just keeping in mind the possibilities of that, and looking for insight moving forward into the next coming few days. I feel like this is already speaking to me here. So, 1 higher arcana and 2 suits. The 2 suits are wands, which represent action. I'm going to talk about that. I do feel like they're speaking together. And then I'm going to move to the star card. The first one that's speaking to me is the King of Rods. This is a decision that needs to be made in terms of the action that needs to be taken. Kings often represent decisions that need to be made, and that there can be sacrifices involved in those decisions. This would be a decision based on action because it's a wand. So just keep that in mind. If you feel like you're in the process of making decisions in terms of the actions that you need to take, that's what this is describing, is that process. Now, this card is the 6 of Wands. It did not come out reversed. And what it's telling me, Kevin, is that you have something that you can celebrate. You can see here that this person is sort of on their high horse. They're in sort of a parade type structure. And on their wand, they have a wreath, and there's other wands backing them up behind them. What this is really saying is this person has something to champion. They have something to celebrate. They have something to feel proud of. And that's what it's saying for you. If it was reversed, it would mean that you're unaware of the things that you should feel proud of. So just know that you can look back. Quite often when this card comes out, I often suggest that someone needs to look back at what got you to this point today. What can you be proud of? What are the things that you can celebrate for yourself? that leads to the Star card. The Star card is a higher arcana card. This is the more important message in your reading, Kevin, and it's really suggesting that you have this bright light inside you that could shine and shine its fullest. If the card came out reversed, you would not be aware of this light. It would be inside you and you would need to rediscover it. So just know that this is something you may be aware of. You have this strength or this skill or this light inside you that you can shine, and that is going to allow you to enhance who you are. Because I focused on the next coming days to follow today, Kevin, I feel like this is what is to come, that you're going to come to this realization of your own power, that you're going to realize what you can celebrate and be proud of in yourself. And you're going to have these decisions to make in terms of the actions that you can move forward in. I feel like there's a lot to be determined in this. Given, as you've said, going through the recent tragedy, I'm wondering if even though this has been very disruptive, perhaps sad, perhaps, or tragic, as you've said, there's something that's coming out of this to be gained. I think that there's strength that's going to come out of this for you, that you're going to find some strength, some skill or bright light, the discovery of something about you that is magnificent. Given what you've talked about, Kevin, in the messages, I'm wondering if this has to do with guidance. What's standing out for me is the middle star on the Star card itself. And quite often that can be like spiritual guidance. And so I just feel like perhaps you could be connecting with your father's energy in a way that you may not be anticipating, or that there's a connection there that could be allowing you to gain power in some way. Does this make sense to you, Kevin? What are your thoughts on the way that this reading has come out? I feel like when I look at this reading and I bring it back to where you are now, I think that with this process of determining your actions, feeling proud of yourself, and discovering this inner power, I have a feeling that you're going to work on this and you're going to get this card to flip around eventually by following through with this path. Okay, thank you for that feedback. Right on, that helps a lot. I understand that it's a big decision. Perfect. If I'm so glad that this is very helpful to you, that it helps a lot. No doubt this is a challenging time and that there's going to be a lot to figure out for you, but I see a lot of potential personal growth in the next coming few days, especially with the Star card. The Star card does not show up on the table for someone who doesn't have that inner light, that skill, or that power inside them. So I think you can trust that inner light. I think you can trust that to guide yourself. I'm wondering how I can extend on this further. I think given that this is such a possibly meaningful and disruptive, tragic time for you, I'm going to look to my Witch's Wisdom deck. This deck gives great insight in terms of those deep messages that need to be brought out. And so I'm going to ask this deck just for 3 cards to show me what you need to hear for yourself. Just the important message on what you need to hear for yourself that's going to come deep from within. Just given your topic in question, I think that might be helpful. Interestingly enough, all three cards have come out reversed. And so I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to work my way to the court card. The first reversed card is the Five of Air. If the card came out like this, it would be talking about protecting family, being protected. You can see here that during this sort of rainstorm, the owls are protecting their family ones on watch. It's really what it's representing is that finding that protection for others. When it's reversed like this, it means that you don't need to protect. That it may be unnecessary, or that it could be um, not overbearing, but what's the word I'm looking for? Like smothering, sort of. So just keep that in mind, that it's really saying that you don't need to protect in this. So if you feel like you have to protect someone within, what's happened or what you're going through, or if you feel like you have to protect yourself, I don't think you're in as much risk as what you may be thinking. The Six of Fire has also come out in this the card pull, and it's saying saying don't base your actions on other people. Do what you need for yourself. If it was this way, it would be like, consider the actions that are going to help other people. But when it's reversed like this, in this kind of reading, I get the sense that it's more saying you got to focus on you more so than others in what you're going through. Let them be vulnerable. I'm reading your message there, Kevin. I think so. I think sometimes if we protect too much, we could be preventing someone from learning a valuable lesson for themselves. And I think that there is some vulnerability that may be needed in this for them. Or yourself, if you resonate with this. But I do get a sense that it's about protecting others. And then the last card that I want to focus on is the Messenger of Air. I often like to call this the Fae card. It's really about our connection with nature, following our instincts. When it's this way, it's like connect with those instincts, follow that nature-oriented instinct. When it's reversed like this, it means that I don't think you need to necessarily connect with your instincts right now. I think you just need to go with the flow, go with the process. You may not be understanding some of the instinctual messages that you're receiving, and that's okay. They eventually will make sense, and this card will flip around and you'll be in tune with that instinctual connection with nature. But in the meantime, it looks like this. I think what this is really saying, and the message that I get from this, is don't put pressure on yourself to make something happen faster than it's going to. When I look at this reading as a whole, Kevin, I see wands, I see swords. And it's basically wands, swords, and in the moment, pentacles. But there are no cups. There's no emotion being expressed on the table. And that's just telling me that you don't need to receive messages based on emotion, that you probably have a very good understanding of what you're going through emotionally right now. And I'm happy to hear that. Given that you've talked about this loss and this tragedy, it's good that there are no sword or no cups coming up on the table, because that's telling me that you are in tune with your emotions, that you don't need to hear the messages in terms of how you're feeling or how you're dealing with emotion. And so I think that you're going through this in the right way. I think you have the right process. The grieving process takes time. Give yourself that time, give yourself that flexibility, give yourself that consideration. I do hope that this was helpful, Kevin. Let me know if you have any final thoughts or comments or questions about this reading. I'm just looking at the cards that have come out, and with this card being reversed, I just feel like, again, that this is a flippable card. That eventually you will be able to get to a point where you're starting to see the life that you want coming together, the pieces coming together. Okay, thank you for that, Kevin. I really appreciate hearing that. This was very helpful. So I'll decharge the cards and thank the cards and just put them away. Thank you so much to everyone who received readings from me tonight. I really appreciate it. And I apologize to those who didn't get on the list, because I do cap the list to 6 free readings. I did add to the draw. Anyone else who's interested to join the draw, just let me know. You can reach out to me on any platform, on Facebook, on YouTube, or on my website, or you can reach out to me through email. You can even phone me and let me know that you just want to be included in the draw, and I will include you in the draw automatically. I like to offer the draws. It gives opportunity for people, if they can't come to the live events, to just get opportunity to receive a reading from me. And because it's interactive and one-on-one, it's great opportunity to ask questions or to get to know me better. I think it's really important to feel comfortable with the reading that with the reader. With the intuitive reader that's doing your reading. I think it's really important to feel comfortable with the person that's doing your reading. And so I like to be just an open book. I'll answer all sorts of questions. And if you feel like I'm not the right reader for you, that's okay too. I can even refer you to a reader that may be more along your style or what you're looking for. Absolutely, Roy. Thank you for that. I will add you to the draw. I'm just adding your name. Perfect. So I've added you to the draw. More information about that draw is on my website, www.staffordtarot.com, if you're interested to know more about it. If you are a winner, I will reach out to you. If you signed up with the draw on this broadcast, I will reach out to you if you're a winner through Facebook Messenger, because this is on Facebook and I reach out on the same platform that you reach out to me. And that draw will be happening on Monday, January 22nd, 2024, around after 10 a.m. is when I do the draw, and then I usually reach out to the winners during the day. So watch for your messages. Make sure you check your messages. And if you don't receive a message from me, I only return messages to the winners. So if you don't receive a message from me, please feel free to get involved again. Better luck next time. And I do wish you well. And I hope that, I don't mind if people want to continue to try and get involved in the draw, or if you were a winner previously, you can still get involved. I don't mind that at all. So just have fun. Look on my website for all the opportunities. There's more opportunities for free readings, as well as opportunities to receive a reading from me, and all the upcoming events. So thank you so much. I really appreciate seeing everyone tonight. I've really enjoyed this live broadcast. And join me for the next Tarot Talk live event on Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. We'll start about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, similar to tonight. And that topic is going to be about when not to do readings. Take good care, everybody, and I look forward to talking with you then. Bye.